Jujutsu Kaisen is an anime that kind of flew under my radar for a bit. When I first saw it, I kind of ignored it because I thought it was another yucky boring action anime where the guy gets thrown around by some girl. But then I saw how it was skyrocketing in popularity and how some people were comparing it to Demon Slayer? Shit, okay. So I thought to myself, maybe this is something special. I should give it a watch. So my hopes and expectations for this anime went up, and it didn't disappoint. Now, before I get into the summary of this anime, yeah, I know I'm 7 episodes too late, but I don't care. Here's a summary. This anime takes place in a world in which creatures named curses exist, as well as curse hunters. We follow a fella by the name Yuji Itadori, a teenager in high school who is a part of the occult club with 2 other students. They find a cursed artifact called the Finger of Sukuna. It belonged to this very powerful demon named Sukuna, and it contained a bit of his power in it. So naturally, many curses are after it in order to consume its powers. Now, Yuji's dumbass friends decide to take out the bandages on the finger, causing all these ugly ass pervert creatures to come out and try to eat them. So this curse hunter and Yuji try to stop them, but they just end up getting their asses kicked. And with no other choice, Yuji eats the finger. He is momentarily taken over by the demon, but is somehow able to suppress it and take back control of his body. We then find out that he could be useful for destroying the Sukuna's curse and is given 2 choices: either finding and eating all the fingers, then getting executed, or just getting executed then and there. Now of course, Yuji chooses the first option, and so the adventure begins. We see here that this anime's premise is not that incredibly different to a lot of shonen, but it's done in a somewhat different way, and many aspects of this anime's story are done pretty well. But there was one aspect of this story that had me the most interested, that being the agreement that Yuji made of finding all the fingers and then getting executed. Because we see that Yuji has a limited time, and you think to yourself, will they pull off the killing, or will he somehow find a way to live, or what? Another thing that I noticed is that this anime was somewhat similar to Blue Exorcist, with the main character of Blue Exorcist, Rin, discovering that he had these demonic powers and is told that he will either be killed or become an exorcist. And despite both Yuji and Rin being good people who will follow through with their promises, the higher ups still want them dead and they're preying on their downfall. Now, moving on from that, this anime has some of the same tropes that a lot of shonen anime have, but in a more refined way, and I feel like it has a lot of potential to keep on fleshing out its story and themes, but I don't think it's going to be the next big thing. Well, at least not yet. As I said before, it has a lot of potential, and once that potential is met by fleshing out its themes and plot devices, then yeah, I think it could become the next big thing, at least in my opinion. So, characters time.
The only person that got it. 100,000, 2 mil.
I really like the characters in this anime, including the side characters, and yeah, Yuji is the shonen MC trope of, oh, he's chill and quirky most of the time, but when you mess with him or his friends, then you're gonna get your ass beat. But again, despite it being a trope, it's something that is done in a slightly different way, and it really isn't a bother. Then there are the other prominent characters like Megumi. He's a pretty cool character. He's a typical cool guy in animes, but again, they change it up and pull it off differently. Like for example, he's a guy whose personality just doesn't allow him to go 100% in some fights, and I haven't really seen a character like that. I also really like his powers. He summons demon animals. Then there's Nobura, a character that I thought I was going to dislike when I first saw her because she does a stupid trope of throwing or kicking the MC for no reason, but I actually ended up liking her. First off, her motivations for the things that she does are pretty grounded in reality. She doesn't want to kill all the demons or save everybody in the world. She just wants to do something for herself, and it's sort of nice seeing a character like that who isn't selfless. She's also not useless. She doesn't need anybody to come save her during a fight like certain people, and the time she does need help, you don't see her crying and begging for help. She's just like, well, guess I'll die. Okay, last prominent character is Goju Satoru. He's probably the most liked character in the community, and I see why. He's a pretty cool guy and the teacher of the 3 main characters. He's one of the most OP characters in the show, and some of the things that he did actually made me sort of laugh. Now, apart from these main guys, we also have side characters who haven't done much yet in the anime but are still pretty interesting. I like this Panda guy and how he's introduced. When he's introduced, all that is said about him is, that's Panda. He's a panda. Boom, that's it. No 10-minute flashback explaining how he became a panda. It's just a regular introduction. I found this to be great because it lets us, the audience, find out how he became the way he did throughout the course of the anime.
Gravando o vídeo mais incrível do mundo, Siri fazendo bar. Vamos, seu Siri, esse é o depoimento.
Shit, okay, I don't like talking about art. It's not really my strong suit. Usually for me, it's me looking at the anime, and if the animation looks cool, then thumbs up. If the camera angles make the animation look even cooler, then thumbs up again. And Jujutsu Kaisen does a really good job at both those things. That's really all I have to say about that. I'm not gonna go on a long tangent explaining how it's good. Just look at it. The music is another great part of this anime. You've got tracks that hype you up during a fight scene and other tracks that build up suspense in suspenseful scenes. I like the hip hop type tracks it has, and the OP is also pretty good, but I think the ED is a bit better. It's a pretty funky tune. I think that this fuck. I think that this is a pretty solid anime that you should maybe give a shot. It's got a pretty good story, compelling characters, great music, and hype fights. What more would you want from a shonen action anime? There's a lot more potential in this anime, and I feel like with a few more episodes that potential can be realized. But it did grasp my attention. Then again, it's not too hard for an anime to grasp my attention. Just show me cool fight and I'm hooked. But nevertheless, it hooked my attention, and I will be reading the manga once the anime is done airing. So give it a watch, it's worth your time. And if you don't like the first episode, well, at least watch 3 episodes before you decide to drop it. And yeah, peace.
Tennis all splintered, folded in a hitter. Another